world had been spinning out of control for several years. Mom to 3 daughters, wife to an incredible husband with some significant health challenges. I was a special education teacher and the owner of a private tutoring practice that I ran in the afternoons and evenings after teaching all day long. I had to do that to make ends meet. You know, I think people in our country don't talk about how difficult their financial situations are. And I think it comes from a place of shame and embarrassment. And ours certainly wasn't because we were living large. It was because life came at us fast and life came at us hard and like hit us in the face with a 2x4 over and over. So I share humbly because I want to take the stigma away of that and let people know that there are things that they can do to step out of their situation. But I was somebody that would fall into bed each night so exhausted, yet feeling like I hadn't accomplished half of what I needed to during the day. Were lunches packed for tomorrow? Did anybody have clean underwear or matching socks? Did we have enough money for the mortgage this month? Did I feed the kids healthy foods for dinner that night in between practices and, you know, what else, everything else we had going on? I missed having downtime. I missed my kids. I wanted to spend real time with them and look into their eyes and really hear about their day. I didn't have that. I remember one time when my daughter Megan actually went to her piggy bank and took money out from her birthday, and she brought it to me and asked me if I had space in my tutoring schedule to help her with math that week. That really hurt. It shot me right in the heart. And my husband Sean and I call those the dark, twisty years. We were on a merry-go-round and we saw absolutely no way of getting off of it. We knew there had to be a better way to be playing this game called life, and we had no idea that one of the keys would come in the form of encapsulated fruits and vegetables and berries. So I was invited to a wine and wellness event at someone's house by a friend one day. I didn't know the girl whose house I was going to. Her name's Courtney. She's wonderful. I can't even tell you why I went. I usually don't attend anything outside of my normal schedule, but I found myself there and I learned about Juice Plus. And when I saw that there was this easy mom hack way to get more produce into my family, I was totally intrigued. But when I saw that there was solid clinical research to back it up, I knew I had to get it into my family. It costs $2.50 a day for the fruits and the veggies and the berries, or almost just over $3 a day for the fruits, the veggies, the berries, and the omegas. And I knew there was nothing I could get at the grocery store for that amount of money for just myself that would give me the nutrition that this would, let alone one of our children in our family health study. So because of our financial situation, of course, I had to ask how to get the best price possible. And that's when the family health study was shared with me, that if I was taking Juice Plus, I could sponsor one of my children to get it for free for 4 years. Excuse me. So that was buy one, get one, and that was moving me closer, but I needed an even better way. So Courtney, the wonderful girl who was hosting, asked me if I'd be open to taking a look at the mission of this company and learning how I maybe could offset my family's cost. The last thing I needed was anything else on my plate. Trust me, I was working 60 to 80 hours a week trying to keep our head above water, but it was important enough for me to figure out a way that I took a peek. And what I found was something simple. I found a way to weave sharing Juice Plus with other people into my own busy life. It was something so authentic, so solid, that I jumped, and that was completely unlike me. So now 10 years later, my family is healthier than we've ever been. Migraines, asthma, allergies, sickness, cold and flu, strep, cholesterol levels, all of these things have decreased in our life. Our medical expenses are lower, and we've been able to use our Juice Plus as a catalyst to think differently about our overall health. See, Juice Plus isn't something that changes your body overnight, but it's got this incredible research behind it that shows that it does get into our bloodstream and it changes our bodies and our systems over time. So as we started to take Juice Plus, our lifestyle, our habits, our eating, our cooking, how I made dinner started to change. What we craved started to change. And we noticed that we were spending less on over-the-counter medications, less on copays, and more on foods that were more healthy that we started to actually crave. To know that I'm changing the actual DNA destiny of my kids by putting this into their body and changing our family's pattern for high cholesterol, or our family's pattern and our, our incidence of other types of illness and disease, and they're passing that on to my grandchildren, that just makes me feel great. And this business has become such a huge part of our family. Kaylin, my daughter, is on here tonight. She is actually a sales coordinator on my team as well. But this has turned into a family event for us. It's given us choices. It's given us opportunities. It started as a supplemental income stream that I stayed in line for, and I kept growing. And this beautiful, wonderful team has emerged from it, a team with incredible energy and passion. And I want you to meet a couple of people on my team who just shine. I mean, every single person who has locked arms with us just shines. But I want to introduce a couple people specifically that have volunteered to share with us tonight. So I'm going to pass it over right now to Shannon Durham, who actually is one of my best friends from high school. Shannon, are you there? I'm going to pass it to you.
Heather gives away secrets from the get-go. Yep, we've been friends for a long time. Thank you, Heather. I am Shannon Durham. And Heather was awesome enough to introduce me to Juice Plus almost a decade ago. Like she mentioned, we had been friends since high school. She was a junior, I was a sophomore. And she figured that with my medical background and some of my health needs, the Juice Plus would make a lot of sense to me. I was a really busy parent, like many of you out there. I was teaching yoga classes, traveling to Japan to certify other teachers in yoga, raising young twin girls, and managing a home that was really, really busy. My husband is a surgeon, and he was at a hospital many hours of the day taking care of his patients. And I will be very transparent. Juice Plus and I were not love at first sight. I did not eat my Juice Plus on a regular basis until my very busy lifestyle caught up with me. And I was really feeling like this weight of being physically and emotionally spent. And it's at that point that the Juice Plus magic started to kick into action. I was taking my capsules every day, and voila, everything in my life was good and nothing was wrong anymore. No. I wish it's not like that. But what did happen was over several months, I began to notice subtle changes. I didn't need as many naps. My stomach wasn't keeping me from leaving the house. And I had fought migraines for years, and the frequency of the migraines was really decreasing. One of the biggest wins for me as a mama was my kids became more receptive to foods that were actually nourishing them. We all found ourselves adopting some healthier habits along the way. And like Heather mentioned, Juice Plus really seemed to be the catalyst for the overall changes in our health. So from what I've said, for me, it's really easy to see the physical piece was being addressed, but the emotional component still had something missing. And along the way, Heather would share little pieces of the business side of Juice Plus, the people she was meeting, the families that she was helping. And there, she mentioned there was this crossroads in her career path. And when she came to that crossroads, she knew that with the supplemental income from her Juice Plus business, she had put herself in a position to make different choices where in past years, she didn't have that opportunity. And that's what really started me thinking on the business part. I was like, I want to be part of the things that Heather's sharing with me. I want to carve out this healthy little space for me as Shannon. I was feeling like along the way in my busyness and in life, I was losing a little bit of my spark, and I honestly felt a little bit lost. And I had this huge desire to connect with people who had like similar core values, connect with people who enjoyed sharing and educating. And I wanted the opportunity to, again, earn money, because that was something that I had not done in a really long time. When I had the girls, I left my nursing job at the hospital. I had been working with my husband on the open heart and transplant team. And so I decided I'm gonna do this with Heather. And so I began to learn from her, and I began to share with other people. And I have found that there actually is some magic in the process. I made a joke about it earlier, but there is some magic in this process, because each time I share our product and our mission, and each time I connect with my team, every time I help a family start down a healthier path, my physical, emotional, and financial goals are coming more clearly into view. My connections with other people are so strong. And I know for sure why I'm on this journey. And it gives me a sense of purpose and a sense of self that I really feel like I had kind of let go away. So I'm just super happy, super proud, and super grateful to be part of this company, part of this team, part of this mission. So grateful. I'm going to kick it on over to Gabriel. Are you there, Gabriel?
Yes, I'm here.
Did I say it right, Gabe?
No, you did. You did good that time. The first time on like the Voxer, not so much, but this time was good.
Awesome.
Yes. Hey, everyone. My name is Gabe. I'm 23, and right now I'm working as a mission partner for a ministry that's out of Syracuse, New York. And basically all my life, I've been an athlete on like a go schedule. And by the time I was a junior in high school, I was getting sick about 5 to 6 times a year. And 1 or 2 days of inadequate sleep would lead me down a vicious path of like a guaranteed cold and an automatic ear infection. You can ask my mom, this is true. And I always needed the right amount of sleep and the proper food because my body couldn't maintain an immune system unless everything was followed to a T. And my immunity was horrible, despite the fact my mom was a health nut and gave us organic everything, like even organic toothpaste. But thankfully, a friend of mine at school saw how much I was struggling and shared Juice Plus with me. And these capsules full of plant powders became an elemental piece of my strengthened immune system. And I went from being sick 5 to 6 times a year to only 1 to 2 times a year, which for me was a huge deal because I was very active, and that saved me about 4 more weeks, and I had a lot more time for school assignments, and I got really far behind. So this gave me back a month more of energy and health, which meant the world to me considering I love working out and playing sports. And right after high school, I decided to align myself with the Juice Plus company because I believed in the power of this good nutrition. But personally, when I partnered with them, it was more about the money than helping people get healthy. I'm gonna be completely honest. But don't get me wrong, like I did care about helping others, but time proved that money was more important to me when my customer care became non-existent. I stopped educating myself, and it became more of a stream of income than a passion until I eventually stopped working on it altogether. And looking back on it, it makes me sad to think about how many people I didn't have a good Juice Plus customer experience because I didn't make it a priority. So eventually, I even stopped taking the capsules myself. My family's money situation became tight, and because we didn't keep ourselves educated on the power of these plants, it was one of the first items we dropped in our budget. And over the last year or two, I found myself getting sick more often, and I was often like really tired. And it never occurred to me why I felt that way until about 4 months ago. It really hit me when I found my Juice Plus bottles buried in the back of my dresser. And let me tell you, it was so clear that I didn't actually realize how much stronger and healthier my body was on my Juice Plus until I was off of it. And from that moment on, I've been back on the Juice Plus train. And I have been reaching back out to the customers I lost track of, asking for do-overs, and sharing with as many people as I can how Juice Plus has made a difference in my life and in my health. And it's taken me a while, but I'm finally understanding the true impact, and I'll never stop telling people. And looking back, I can now see that I had some basic head knowledge of Juice Plus, but just over the last couple of months, I've grown to understand like the true heart of this mission and this company. And I've now realized that this isn't just a product, but it's also a resource that can help transform and improve so many lives. So now I can't help but share it. And I'm looking ahead now and seeing so many possibilities in my life, and I'm committed to keep growing my business. So it's no longer just about making a steady income, and now it's about getting people healthy as well. And I've learned that I can make an income while I make an impact on this world, and that like feels really good. So I can't wait to see what's ahead and what God has planned for my life, and I'll just keep sharing it and caring about others. But thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on to Lora Lyons so she can share with you her Juice Plus experience. Go get them, Lora.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Gabe. I'm a wife and a mom of 3, and I'm a small business owner. So like most moms, I'm super busy. And when I first heard of Juice Plus, I thought it was only for people who didn't eat fruits and vegetables. So I assumed it wasn't for me because I juiced every day and I ate a salad every meal. I had no idea that Juice Plus was for everyone. Our Juice Plus health journey started over 7 years ago when I was pregnant with my 3rd child. And at the time, my oldest, my son Harry, suffered from a concussion, which developed into chronic headaches. And I was getting to the point of his teacher calling me several times a week because he was in so much pain and couldn't focus. And at that point, he'd already seen every specialist out there, so I was feeling helpless because I couldn't help him. So I knew that good nutrition would have a significant impact on healing his body, but I didn't know how to get that in him without a fight. So I went to her pediatrician as a last-ditch effort. Incidentally, she had Juice Plus in her waiting room. So off the cuff, I asked her, do you think that this will help? Do you think Juice Plus will help Harry? And she said without hesitation, yes. So I finally knew what to do. I called my friend and my neighbor, Shelly. She told me that if I placed an order for myself, I could sponsor him for free under the family health study. It was a no-brainer. Plus, I was pregnant, so I got a 3-for-1 deal. And I knew that adding extra nutrition into my own body would only help my growing baby. But I didn't want the rest of my family feeling left out, so I ordered for my husband too, and he could sponsor my daughter, Maggie. So Juice Plus has had a really positive impact on my whole family over the past 7 years. Not only did my son's headaches improve, but so did my eczema flare-ups that I've had since childhood. I'd suffered for years with dry, cracked, painful eczema rashes on my hands. It looked awful, but even worse, it really hurt. And I was always trying to hide my hands because I was embarrassed of how they looked, and I was constantly worried about germs because they hurt too much to wash as often as I needed to. So for my 3rd baby, Charlie, my only Juice Plus baby, was by far my best pregnancy and the healthiest of all 3 of my children. Where my others were significantly jaundiced right after birth, she was not. And over time, we've also noticed that my husband's chronic sinus issues have decreased. My kids hardly miss school, and they eat and crave fresh produce. So we're on this for life, and since then I've joined the Juice Plus business, and I can't keep Juice Plus to myself. Other families really need to know that this is out there. So I'm a leadership coach, and over 20 years ago, I struck out to work for myself after finding I was disenchanted with the corporate world. I quickly discovered that as a solopreneur, I was trading my time for money, and the very little free time that I had, I was trying to figure out how to market and build my business, which was hard when I was trying to fulfill the needs of my family. My work pulled me away from them when the whole point was to work for myself so I could be with them. So as my family grew, so did our needs, and we were in a downward spiral. So I finally looked at the Juice Plus business model after my friend and neighbor invited me to check it out, and it took her many attempts. I had my own idea of what the business was like. I thought that it would be as difficult as building my coaching practice, where I did everything myself. And I had put it in the category of every other home-based mom business out there where they had quotas and monthly minimums. So when I finally did look, I was very surprised. It was nothing like I thought. So what I discovered is that there is a system to follow, that I didn't have to invest lots of time and money to try to figure out how to do everything. It's already in place. Plus, there are tons of support and personal growth opportunities, which I love. So what I love is that we offer health and financial solutions. My family's health has improved considerably. And as a business, I'm able to weave this seamlessly into our busy family life and bring in a supplemental income by doing meaningful work. And because of Juice Plus, we've been able to say yes more often, creating opportunities for my kids to spend more time with their grandparents and to do more as a family. And going forward, my goals include greater flexibility with our time, more travel, and to be there for our kids when they leave the nest someday. I love this because we're just getting started. And what I've learned in this journey is that we can choose not to trade dollars for hours, that there is a business model that exists where you can truly work for yourself, but not by yourself. that there is a work community that does exist out there, that we lift each other up. And I've also learned that in order to grow and create a new and a different future for yourself, it takes an open and curious mind and a willingness to learn, to be coachable, and step out of your comfort zone. I say just go for it. And if not now, when? So now, thank you for listening. I'm going to pass the torch over to my friend Jill. Take it away, girl.
Oh, thanks, Laura. It is such a privilege and a pleasure to be here. I was introduced to Juice Plus, 8 or so years ago by my dear friend Heather O'Brien. She told me about this really easy way to get more fruits and vegetables into our diet with these capsules, and it made perfect sense to me. Anything that I could do to get my family healthy and keep them healthy, I was willing to take a look at it. I knew that our family wasn't eating like we should, y'all, especially my husband. I mean, left to his own devices, he eats like a 14-year-old boy. I mean, I'm not kidding. His food of choice is a Wendy's cheeseburger and fries every single time. So this idea of 30 fruits and vegetables in a capsule, I mean, that was totally speaking to me. So truly, it was the simplicity and the studies that sold me. This, and I knew Heather well enough that she wasn't going to push snake oil at me. Over the years, I watched Heather grow not just her business, but her community. She invited me to events, and I saw firsthand the difference that Juice Plus was making in people's lives. I also got to see the difference Juice Plus was making in our lives. Our annual physicals told me that there was some serious change happening on the inside. My husband saw a 50-point increase in his good cholesterol. Y'all, that is a big deal. I wasn't kidding when I said the 14-year-old boy comment, honestly. So about 2 years ago, we moved our daughter to New York City right after she graduated from college. She asked if we could keep her supplied with Juice Plus because, well, she was still a broke college graduate living in New York City, and she was going to be living with 18 million people in that city, all of whom were going to be on the subway with her. So of course, as a mom, I said yes, we would supply that for her. So it really made sense at that point in time for me to look at the business perspective of Juice Plus, and I am so glad that I did. I'll tell you, the supplemental paycheck, that's really nice, don't get me wrong, but what really, really speaks to my soul is the community and the opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. Juice Plus is all about helping people make healthy choices, and that fits perfectly with the work that I do in my full-time job. I love that I have the opportunity to make a lasting impact in people's lives, and I can do it on a schedule that works for me. And I get to do it with some really incredible people who operate from their heart. I only work my Juice Plus business on a part-time basis. I love my full-time career and I have no plans to leave it, but the simplicity and the ease of sharing fruits and veggies in a capsule with others, all while being a part of this community of really kind, caring, go-givers, keeps me connected to the Juice Plus family, and I will stay connected to the Juice Plus family for a really long time. So Heather, thank you for inviting me all those years ago, and I'm going to give it back to you now.
Yeah, gosh, you guys, wow. I love hearing people's stories. I love this call every Thursday night because we really get to hear from a whole host of different people. Thank you guys all so much for being here and being part of just learning. If somebody asked you to be on here tonight, it's because they care about you. If you got on begrudgingly, but you learned a little something, that's what fills our heart up. If you'd like to learn more about who we are and what we do and what we stand for, reach out to the person that invited you on here tonight. They'll be following up with you. And we want you to know that you can ask questions and learn as much as you need to. And we really hope that you join us at some level, whether adding these capsules in is something that would make a difference in your health moving forward, or potentially being interested in what our mission is and what this journey is about. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to hand it back to Josh real quick.
Heather, thank you so much for your time, and everybody on your team, thank you. The stories were fantastic. And to second, what Heather had to say, this is, truly a unique time right now for all of us, not just throughout the United States, but all over the world. Our world is evolving rapidly, And anytime that there's a challenging time in life, there are people that need help and there are people that show up to help. And I think the people with the Juice Plus company are going throughout the world and they're showing up and they're helping people, whether that's from a health standpoint or from a financial standpoint, or the beautiful part about this business, you can do both. There are a lot of people out there right now, guys, that need help. And so it does take courage to approach people, especially when people are used to being approached all the time and people wanting to get something from them. You know, in the Juice Plus business, we feel like we're trying to give something to them, but you know, sometimes it takes a little bit to get that point across. So stay patient, stay persistent, because your goal is a worthy one. It is a noble one. I don't think there's anything more noble than the activity that develops people and improves the quality of people's lives. So we're going to transition now. I'm actually going to sign off and sign back on so we can separate these two videos. And my beautiful Aunt Cheryl is going to take over the torch and share with us a little bit tonight on the training front on the back of our Freedom Revolution website, phase 1, phase 2. We're going to talk about some worksheets and how we can really get this thing off the ground quickly. So you guys hang with me just a second. I'll get logged back in here shortly. Thanks so much, guys.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.